ni managiananik, mami winini anishinabeg, ogog, ka nagadawabadajig, iyo aki eko weshkad. Ako nungum, egawikad, kimigwewach, ni managiananik, kakina anishinabeg, undaje, kaye ogog, kakina, eniagazijik, enegukamigog, kanadam, eji udapanangik, endawajin, udawang, nenisadunawinawananik, kenawendamujik, kije, kikendamawin, weshkinigijik, kaye, keje yadazijik, nigijewe nimananik, ogog, kanigani, songideyejik, weshkad, nungum, kaye, ayanikaj.
Bonjour et bienvenue à la finale du concours uOGRADflix 2022. Mon nom est Christine Auger, Executive Advisor in the Office of the Vice Provost, Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies at the University of Ottawa. I'm thrilled to be your virtual host today for the live showcase of the uOGRADflix competition. Nous sommes ravis de pouvoir organiser cette deuxième édition qui permet de mettre en valeur la recherche de nos étudiants et étudiantes aux études supérieures. Our students are the next generation of researchers. They are curious, passionate, innovative, and their work and drive will transform our future. Competitions like this one are really a lot of fun and are also character building. They challenge our students to effectively communicate to diverse audiences. Ces compétences les aideront tout au long de leur parcours professionnel et personnel. L'événement d'aujourd'hui se tiendra en alternance du français et de l'anglais. Today's event will alternate between French and English. People are watching from across country and the world today. Please let us know in the chat where you're joining from and which student you are cheering for. N'hésitez pas à partager vos commentaires et encouragements dans le clavardage tout au long de l'événement, que ce soit sur Zoom ou bien sur YouTube. Chaque année, en octobre, durant la semaine des retrouvailles, la communauté de l'Université d'Ottawa se réunit pour raviver les souvenirs des cohortes précédentes, le temps d'en créer de nouveaux. L'événement d'aujourd'hui clôture la programmation des retrouvailles. J'espère que vous avez pu profiter des activités offertes et que vous avez pu renouer des liens avec les membres de notre communauté universitaire. Nous souhaitons la bienvenue aux diplômés qui se joignent à nous aujourd'hui. Thank you for joining us as we recognize and celebrate the remarkable research accomplished by our graduate students. Today, we will watch the video of the 23 finalists of the 2022 uOGRADflix competition. Veuillez noter que 95% des vidéos soumises à notre jury ont été réalisées en anglais. These videos will inform and inspire you through a 60-second glimpse into the impact of the finalists' research journeys. At the end of the event, you will have the opportunity to vote for your favorite video. Your votes will be compiled toward the People Choice Award in real time. There will be 3 additional podium prizes selected by our jury, and all 4 winners will receive a cash prize and the opportunity to become a research ambassador for the University of Ottawa. C'est avec plaisir que je cède maintenant la parole à la provost et vice-rectrice aux affaires académiques, Madame Jill Scott.
Bonjour et bonne rentrée. Je suis ravie de notre rentrée en personne après plus de 2 ans et demi à distance. Quelle joie d'être de retour en personne de voir autant de monde sur le campus et de voir votre communauté universitaire vibrante qui commence une nouvelle année remplie de promesses, y inclut nos étudiantes et étudiants aux études supérieures. uOGRADflix started during the pandemic, and it has been extremely exciting to see this event become part of the fabric of grad studies at the University of Ottawa. Knowledge translation is such an important component of your studies, making your research accessible. C'est une occasion donc de rendre la recherche et les découvertes de nos étudiants et étudiantes accessibles au grand public. Our graduate students are doing exciting research in new fields and pushing the limits of disciplines and knowledge. This research will impact the lives of people, communities, and will help to shape our world. Like you, I'm in awe of our students' hard work and persistence. uOGRADflix est aussi une occasion unique de valoriser l'incroyable recherche effectuée par nos étudiantes et étudiants aux études supérieures. Les étudiants et étudiantes nous surprennent toujours au-delà de leur créativité. Un immense merci donc à toutes et à tous qui contribuent à cet événement. Please enjoy these wonderful videos, post them, share them, and make the research come alive.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Les vidéos soumises pour le concours uOGRADflix ont été examinées par un comité composé de 4 juges et ont été évaluées selon les critères suivants. Half of the points were based on how participants shared their message, while the other half was split between their creativity and technical savvy. 4 prizes will be awarded. The winner of the competition will receive a $1,000 cash prize and will represent the University of Ottawa in a provincial competition. The second prize will receive $750 and the third place $500. At the end of the event, all viewers will have the chance to vote for their favorite video, which will win the People's Choice Award, valued at $500. All winners and finalists will be also featured on our website. Nous recommandons aux téléspectateurs et téléspectatrices de noter leurs vidéos préférées au fur et à mesure qu'elles sont diffusées afin d'exprimer leur vote sur la liste à la fin. Pour faciliter le vote pour le prix du public, nous avons fourni dans le chat une liste PDF de tous les finalistes par ordre de présentation. You will find the list of all the finalists in order of presentation in the chat. J'ai le plaisir de présenter les 4 juges du concours uOGRADflix. L'honorable Greg Fergus, député fédéral de Hull-Elmer, secrétaire parlementaire du premier ministre et de la présidente du Conseil du Trésor. Militant communautaire, homme d'idées, il a travaillé au cours des 25 dernières années, tant dans le secteur privé que public, les organismes sans but lucratif et le secteur universitaire. Greg n'hésite pas à s'impliquer au sein de sa communauté. Il encourage les gens à s'investir dans des causes qui leur tiennent à cœur et de se rassembler pour combattre l'isolement et encourageant le sentiment d'appartenance communautaire. Catherine Mavripilis. Catherine is a professional engineer and a professor of mechanical engineering at the University of Ottawa with a stellar career. She's dedicated to research and program development in support of women in science and engineering. She held the NSERC Chair for Women in Science and Engineering from 2011 to 2021, a program that aims to recruit, retain, and advance women to leadership. Mathieu Provost, directeur photo et président les productions Bel Canto, que ce soit pour le cinéma, la télé ou la publicité, au Québec ou à l'international, Mathieu a à cœur de livrer des images au cachet unique qui sauront marquer l'imaginaire des gens. D'un talent incroyable, il se démarque par une attention aux détails et une vision remarquable à travers sa caméra. Je vous invite à prendre quelques minutes pour visionner son travail incroyable. Aline Germain-Rutherford is Vice Provost Academic Affairs at the University of Ottawa. Dynamic and passionate about her work, she is dedicated to a rich student experience and high-quality academic programs. She is recognized for her teaching excellence and leadership. We thank them all for reviewing the video, selecting the 23 finalists, and ranking the top 3 winners. It is now time to view the videos created by our students. 1 minute seulement pour résumer leur recherche de longue haleine, un défi incroyable que j'ai hâte de visionner. We will watch the videos in set of 5 to allow you the time to take notes for your selection of the People's Choice Award. C'est maintenant le temps de regarder le travail exceptionnel de nos étudiants et étudiantes. Je vous souhaite un bon visionnement.
With Canadians living longer, the demand for long-term care homes is increasing. Technology can help manage some of the problems associated with aging and chronic illness by supporting the healthcare providers and older adults living in long-term care. However, when technologies are implemented too quickly or without proper planning, they can disrupt care, lead to errors that diminish quality of life, waste resources, and frustrate long-term care staff. But which technologies are best and how should they be implemented? Managers tend to know much more about caring for residents than they do technology, therefore they are poorly placed to answer these questions. This research will help solve this problem by providing a decision-making tool that managers can use to support their decisions on what technologies are best suited to support their residents and staff. This is important given the extremely limited budgets long-term care homes have, which forces managers to select only the technologies that they think will benefit their residents and staff most.
Behind the handful of smart infrastructure, initiation of Open Wi-Fi is a new innovation to optimize the higher performance of deployed Wi-Fi services. Ensure continual network connectivity to clients, analyzing data traffic is important. In addition, Open Wi-Fi manages Wi-Fi traffic by logging data packets into Cloud Controller. My research focuses on identifying anomalies behind big data, leveraging artificial intelligence and combination of machine learning algorithms. Simple observation where sudden spikes and lower values of data packets can indicate outliers. Therefore, adoption of a classifier can categorize outliers from normal traffic. To test accuracy of a classifier, a good sign of ROC close to optimal value signifies the classifier is learning well while detecting outliers.
Climate crisis, social injustice, and unsustainable consumption patterns are all a direct result of capitalism or are made worse by it. Capitalist behaviors of privatization, profit maximization, and the corrosion of community are barriers to realization of social transformation. These are reinforcing a system that is actively destroying our planet and social relations. It's clear that we need alternatives that think outside of the capitalist box to bring about social change and human flourishing. Community resource sharing is one alternative that I believe has the potential for anti-capitalist social transformation. My research will use a case study to explore the impact of this activity. I will interview people participating in a local community-based sharing initiative to better understand how it can shape their way of thinking about consumption and affect their overall well-being. Using the data I have gathered, I hope to demonstrate the impact of local actions, ideas, and initiatives, and assess their ability to transform society and move us all towards a better future.
Change management is not a new concept. There are over-abundant research and frameworks starting in the 1940s. There are also a lot of studies of technology and change. But why do change initiatives regarding technology often fail? My research goes beyond the symptoms of change failure. I aim to find the root cause of failure. Taking interdisciplinary research, I'm connecting the theories and frameworks in management and social science to achieve a holistic understanding of what has been studied in change and technology and what is missing. Then, through a case study, I will collect data from a real-life business setting. The goal of my research is to discover how to succeed in technology-related change management. To summarize, my research is not just another change management theory. I aim to provide a renewed technology-related change management thinking and approach to promote change success in the digital age.
Eat, sleep, study, repeat. Student life is tough. It's not surprising that over 30% of university students worldwide suffer from anxiety and depressive symptoms. Fortunately, researchers around the globe are investigating potential ways to mitigate this mental health crisis. We know that positive education courses promote mental health and alleviate mental illness-related symptoms in university students. But what happens when we throw another evidence-based practice into the mix? By means of questionnaires and open-ended journal prompts, I am examining the impact of integrating a yoga component into a positive education course offered at the University of Ottawa on undergraduate students' mental health, with the intention of opening up new avenues for positive education and helping students flourish on and off the yoga mat.
Thank you to our first 5 participants. This is a great start. I'm amazed at the variety of research performed by our students, and this is just the beginning. C'est avec plaisir que je cède la parole au nouveau vice-provost études supérieures et postdoctorales, professeur André Beauchemin.
Bienvenue à cette deuxième édition du concours uOGRADflix. uOGRADflix is an annual video competition where our students have the chance to present their research and show its importance, all the while demonstrating their communication skills and their creativity. They have competed alongside other graduate researchers, leurs collègues de laboratoire, and this experience has enhanced their ability to present their research to a non-specialist audience. Ceci est une capacité qui va vraiment les aider dans leur carrière. Not an easy task to summarize in 60 seconds years of research, but the students did a remarkable job. This event is an opportunity of creating a sense of graduate community and enhancing the student experience. Les 4 gagnants ou gagnantes d'aujourd'hui seront invités sur le campus pour une célébration à laquelle nous remettrons des trophées et des prix monétaires. Je vous remercie et je vous souhaite une bonne compétition. Enjoy.
Thank you, Dr. Beauchemin. And now for our second set of video, pour notre deuxième bloc de vidéo.
People around the world use language to exchange ideas and connect with each other. The language of organic chemistry is used similarly, but instead of words, we use arrows in part to show how chemical bonds are made and broken. Viv is a student learning organic chemistry. She's briefly introduced to this concept of arrows, but doesn't quite understand them. The professor continues using the arrows and teaching chemistry principles, but Viv has difficulty following along because her mind is still processing what the symbols mean. So, Viv starts memorizing the arrow sequences without understanding why they're drawn there, and she's able to get by until her next pop quiz. One question asks, why is this arrow drawn here? And Viv can't answer it because all she did was memorize the arrow sequence. What if there's a connection between students' fluency in organic chemistry's language and their performance in the subject? This discovery would be huge for students like Viv as it puts them in a better position to succeed in the course. And at that point, a once intimidating organic chemistry course would be just another subject with lots of cool things to learn.
Savez-vous que les agressions sexuelles demeurent l'une des infractions les moins déclarées au Canada? Les personnes affectées par une telle situation choisissent en général de ne pas en parler, de le faire tardivement, sélectivement ou d'en parler dans un format anonyme. Il existe donc toujours de la difficulté d'en parler et d'être entendu, et je m'intéresse à comprendre comment les étudiants agressés sexuellement en sont amenés à dévoiler leur expérience. Du coup, j'ai interviewé une dizaine d'étudiants et étudiantes de l'Université d'Ottawa, et pour m'y rendre, j'ai été afficher des textes de recrutement dans les salles de bain sur le campus. Il en ressort que toutes ces personnes ont progressé dans leur logique et type de dévoilement. Ma recherche, elle aide davantage à enseigner comment proprement réagir à la suite d'un dévoilement et être capable de reconnaître ces formes de violence, tout en ouvrant un large espace de nouveaux questionnements. Merci.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, Canadian governments implemented various public health measures to reduce COVID-19 infections and death rates. However, without trust in government, the population will not comply to public health measures, as seen through the various protests that occurred in Canada, even after the lifting of COVID-19 measures were announced. These events indicate a lack of trust in the government, which in turn leads to further public health risk. For my thesis research, I will investigate social media comments or replies to posts published on the Facebook and Twitter pages of municipal, provincial, and federal public health organizations, as it can provide insight into the mindset of a large and diverse sample of the Canadian population. Individuals also tend to express their opinions freely on social media, which can help us better understand what public health COVID-19 reopening decisions increase or decrease public trust. My work will help inform future public health policies to rebuild trust in public health governments and better prepare against future disasters.
Some cancer cells are masters of disguise and can remain unnoticed by the patient's white blood cells. CAR T-cell therapy is a form of cancer treatment that uses a specific population of white blood cells from the patient's blood called T cells, which are re-engineered to recognize and fight these cancer cells. This is achieved by adding a key-like molecule on T cells that can latch onto specific proteins on the surface of cancer cells. Nanobodies are the newest version of these key-like molecules. However, the traditional approach of identifying nanobodies is a time-consuming process that does not guarantee that nanobodies identified will work in a CAR T-cell against cancer cells. We have CAR T-cells containing many nanobodies, which this would not only allow us to find multiple nanobodies that work against cancer cells, but also gives rise to the possibility of combining them to create a better CAR T-cell.
Have you heard of the strong Black woman, the angry Black woman, the Jezebel? These are examples of widespread stereotypes of Black women in our society, and they can impact bystander behavior. Bystanders are present in 1/3 of sexual assault incidents. This means that they could be key players in their prevention. This study will explore how internalized biases affect the perception and the detection of sexual assault within Black communities when the victim is a Black woman. Research shows that a person's race and gender uniquely impacts their experience as bystanders and as survivors. Discussions will be held in focus groups of Black university students. It'll be centered around a vignette depicting hints of drug-facilitated assault to investigate internalized biases and their impact on the participants as bystanders. The prevalence of sexual assault is especially high in post-secondary. With a better understanding of the role of internalized biases, researchers can develop effective culturally adaptive interventions to mobilize bystanders and protect racialized women.
J'inviterai maintenant Catherine Porter, gagnante de la 3e place de la première édition du concours uOGRADflix de l'Université Saint-Paul, à nous dire quelques mots sur son expérience de l'an passé.
Hello, bonjour à tous et félicitations de votre réussite d'être sélectionné comme finaliste. Je ne sais pas pour vous, mais pour moi, au moins, la recherche est parfois un peu sèche. Et donc, ce projet a été vraiment une bouffe d'air frais où j'ai pu vraiment injecter mon sens de créativité et créer une image de ce que je faisais dans une manière beaucoup plus engageante que juste des mots sur papier. I personally found it hard to describe what I was doing to others in a concise way. The best thing that creating this video did for me, especially since I had to go over it so many times as I was recording it, is that I had this 1 minute elevator pitch memorized. And I really can't tell you the amount of times that I quite literally recited my script to others without them realizing I was doing it, of course, when they were asking me what my research was about. And it's been so, so helpful. It was challenging, as I'm sure you can all relate, to reduce my research down to 1 minute, but it made it so clear for me in my mind. And that clarity really created a lot of opportunities for me moving forward as I was networking with others, applying for jobs, building partnerships in the community. Alors, c'était difficile, en fait, de réduire ma recherche dans 1 minute, comme je suis sûre que vous pouvez comprendre, mais ça a vraiment clarifié, en fait, la recherche d'une manière tellement plus claire, non seulement pour les personnes qui me demandaient ce que je faisais, mais pour moi-même. So I do strongly encourage this experience for all of you who haven't done it yet, and even to do it again next year. Because as you know, as researchers, our work can actually feel quite isolating. And this is a great way to connect with others and build a research community. It also provides you with a lot more clarity in what your work really is about. Alors, je vous souhaite une bonne chance à tous les finalistes, et surtout, j'espère que vous vous sentiez satisfait de l'expérience que vous avez reçue dans le processus de création. I wish all the finalists the best of luck, and mostly I hope that you feel satisfied with the gains that you received in the process of creating this video. Congratulations to all of you for making it to as a finalist.
Merci, Catherine, pour avoir partagé ton expérience avec nous aujourd'hui. And now, our third set of video, notre troisième bloc de vidéo.
Driving, playing an instrument, and reaching for your coffee cup in the morning. What do these three things have in common? Well, they're all examples of motor skills that can be acquired through motor learning. Motor learning requires practice or training and the help of a very important brain structure known as the primary motor cortex, or M1 for short. Although we know that M1 plays an important role in motor learning, some questions remain unanswered. For instance, how involved is M1 in executing well-learned motor skills compared to skills that are still being learned? Well, that's the focus of our research. Using mice, we train them on a simple reaching task where they reach for food. We then investigate how a stroke that damages M1 impacts the performance of mice that are still learning the task compared to mice that have already learned the task and performed really well at the task. This work will help us better understand the role of M1 in motor learning and the effects of neurological conditions such as stroke on motor learning.
According to Statistics Canada, there are about 1.9 million indigenous people in Canada. However, there is an increasing evidence of environmental injustice that shows the level of harm, pollution, and environmental degradation that the indigenous people of Canada continue to experience. The continuous violation of the ecological integrity of the indigenous communities in Canada have informed my own interest in this area of research, which is why I have titled my research as Indigenous People's Access to Environmental Justice, a critical interdisciplinary analysis of Canada's legal jurisprudence on environmental sustainability challenges. My research aims to do two things. One, to critically analyze from an interdisciplinary perspective what the real issues are. Two, to formulate theories for viable resolutions through the lens of two different disciplines. The first discipline is law and the other is interdisciplinary studies. Ultimately, my doctoral research will offer an original contribution to the field of social justice and environmental justice.
Patients with severe mental illness have inequitable rates of physical illness and death because health professionals often neglect their physical health. It's unclear how local mental health teams deliver physical health services.
Now, my research shows that mental health teams collaborate with external providers who provide physical health services. But patients face many barriers to their services, especially since the pandemic. Teams also deliver some of their own basic physical health services to meet patients' physical health needs. But team members disagree on how involved mental health teams really should be in physical healthcare delivery. My work helps us understand the importance of collaboration, the barriers which discriminate against patients with severe mental illness, and provider perspectives, which can contribute to improvements in health equity in ways that work for mental health teams.
Change deprives from movement, social movements that advocate for the elimination of systemic racism and discrimination, advocate for women's rights and justice, movements like the Black Lives Matter and Me Too movement. But have you ever wondered if and how do microcosms of societies like sport respond to these social movements and influence positive social change? My research, by focusing on the case studies of the International Olympic Committee and the National Basketball Association, explore how did these organizations respond to the Black Lives Matter and Me Too movement? How did they engage in corporate social advocacy practices? And finally, how did they communicate their potential corporate social advocacy practices to their stakeholders, aiming social change?
Hi, I'm Maria Valdez, and I study management control systems in small firms. Management control systems are the sets of controls that organizations use to direct efforts and resources, which can have different types of components, both formal and informal. They can help organizations to thrive and succeed, or create undesirable effects. My study will help fill in some of the gaps in the literature, connect with practice, and help the small firms. My research explored configurations of control and the relationship among its components to refine theory. Using an innovative approach of multiple cases and cross-case analysis.
Nous allons maintenant visionner le 4e bloc de vidéo. We are now going to watch the 4th series of video.
Have you ever thought why Canada's investments in public infrastructure have sharply increased from $14.5 billion in 2003 to $56.6 billion in 2017? Well, these funds are still not enough to close the infrastructure gap, which is limiting the country's economic growth. In 2019, 12% of Canadian bridges were in poor to very poor conditions. This number was actually 4% in 2016. It's clear that bridges are deteriorating at a faster rate than expected, and this needs to be addressed urgently. One thing we should keep in mind is that we cannot repair bridges without a proper diagnosis. We need to expand our knowledge by investigating elements extracted from real bridges. So through condition assessments and behavioral modeling of real bridge elements, my goal is to advance our industry to better understand and predict the performance of damaged bridges and to enhance rehabilitation measures. Let's maintain our bridges more efficiently. Thank you.
Notre époque est fortement marquée par les débats identitaires
identitaire. Question, vous en avez assez de l'agitation autour des Latinos aux États-Unis? Eh bien, au Congo, ces exclusions sont observées entre communautés. Parvenus, non originaires, tous les qualificatifs sont bons pour évincer ceux qui ne sont pas suffisamment patriotes ou qui viennent perturber notre mode de vie. Ainsi, les conflits sont alimentés parce qu'il faut se mobiliser pour se défendre ou préserver notre culture. Et que pensent vraiment les gens de leur ethnicité et son rapport à l'identité nationale? À quels défis sont-ils confrontés? Ces questions sont rarement étudiées parce que les médias se préoccupent davantage des groupes qui ont pris les armes. En les examinant, nous voyons que autochtones, parvenus, ethno-nationalistes, on a tous besoin d'être reconnus et de vivre pleinement la vie dans une société harmonieuse. Les conflits ne font finalement que nous rappeler à quel point nos identités sont fragiles et à la merci des manipulations.
Social isolation in the elderly population is a public health emergency today. Social isolation causes early mortality. Recreation activities not only have health benefits, but also improve social isolation and loneliness. Doctors today are prescribing recreation activities to tackle social isolation. My thesis focuses on developing a decision support tool to prescribe recreation activities. This tool, Rosie, will help practitioners prescribe recreation based on personality, health, social engagement, and accessibility needs. So instead of providing cookie-cutter solutions, practitioners can recommend activities based on personality and interests. And thereby, we can improve the quality of life even for those who are shut in.
Stroke is a common and serious disorder and a leading cause of death and disability worldwide. Most strokes are caused by blockage of blood to some parts of the brain. One of the sources of the blockage is in the carotid arteries in the neck. To find out if the possible stroke was caused by blockage of blood in the carotid arteries and perform surgical interventions to re-establish blood flow, neck imaging are performed. However, less than 20% of patients have the blockage in the carotid arteries in the neck. So imaging every patient is inefficient and often not possible in many emergency departments and leads to delays for patients who really need imaging and radiation exposure for those who do not need imaging. My research involves developing a clinical prediction tool to identify patients at high risk of carotid artery blockage. Urgent neck imaging can then be done for the high-risk patients, followed by the low-risk patients when necessary. This tool has the potential to improve patient outcomes and reduce costs.
The last but not least set of videos, le dernier bloc de vidéos.
Are you one of the residents that have been affected by the frequent power outages lately? Well, you're not alone. Thousands of fellow residents have been experiencing power outages as the intensity of weather events has been alarmingly increasing due to climate change. Such power outages have become more frequent with everlasting damages. Since May, the Ottawa-Gatineau region witnessed at least 4 major blackouts. Other parts of Ontario experiencing power outages as well as other provinces. Well then, what can be done? Through my research for my PhD thesis, I discussed using electric vehicles to discharge their batteries into the electrical grid. Utilizing the bidirectional charging feature in electric vehicles, also known as vehicle-to-house, essential appliances in a house can run using the batteries of an electric vehicle for 10 days. I use machine learning methods to anticipate and mitigate potential cybersecurity threats that can be launched against the interaction between an electric vehicle and the electrical grid.
Think of COVID-19, the global catastrophe. It made university teaching look and feel a lot different to what it used to be. Assessment is a core element of teaching, and with this sudden shift online, some assessments went from this to suddenly looking like this. Online assessments aren't new to higher education, but the sudden shift could create an excessive cognitive or mental strain. Cognitive load is our limited capacity to hold information, and an area that is not yet explored is whether this influences a teacher's ability to assess. To address this gap, my study explores cognitive load in higher education teachers who use online assessments, all against the backdrop of COVID-19, aiming to highlight the complexities these teachers face every day during these times. We may have started with catastrophe, but by slowly understanding its influence, assessing and assessment in higher education can go far beyond the power of a pandemic.
Canadian student athletes are tasked with juggling the strenuous demands of school and high-performance sport. For many, this leads to feeling overwhelmed by the little time they have to focus on their school, work, career, and social life. As a result, these individuals are at high risk for experiencing psychological distress and lower levels of well-being. So my thesis will ask, how can we help? And who better to ask than our very own uOGRAs? Now, instead of telling me, I want them to show me what a typical day in the life of a uOGRA looks like using the one and only TikTok. Here, we can uncover what they say, do, think, and feel to design a truly innovative solution to support student-athlete well-being.
Would you agree that one of the best feelings in our busy lives is the thought of jumping on a plane to enjoy some vacation time, a family visit, or a new working location? We might think that as consumers, we're all in the same journey, but we do not realize that a growing number of our population still face greater challenges. These groups have invisible disabilities that are not obvious to us all. We still cannot sense their impediments and respond to them as a society. Nowhere can these experiences be more evident than in the transportation sector. Hi, my name is Valentina, and with my research group, we aim to act and plan for enhanced quality of life, characterized by accessible air travel journeys and more inclusive communities. The ever-increasing older population with the rise of senior passengers has enhanced my interest in the case study of dementia as an invisible disability. The expected outcomes will guide towards improving lives by giving policymakers and industries informed directions and presenting individuals and groups with information about how to identify and advocate for their rights.
Wow, what a captivating journey into the amazing work of our graduate student. As you can imagine, our jury had a difficult task of selecting the top 3 winners among the 23 finalists. Our students have worked hard, and I would like to congratulate each participant in this competition. Thank you for sharing your passion and your research with us. C'est maintenant le moment de voter pour votre vidéo favorite. Pour ce faire, vous pouvez cliquer sur le lien dans le chat ou bien scanner le code QR qui va apparaître à l'écran. Vous avez 3 minutes pour voter pour le prix du public. It is now time to vote for the Public Choice Award. You can use the link in the chat or scan the QR code that will appear on the screen. You have 3 minutes to vote for the Public Choice Award. It is now time to unveil the winners of the second edition of the uOGRADflix competition. C'est maintenant le temps de dévoiler les gagnants de la deuxième édition du concours uOGRADflix. We will start with the third place. On va commencer avec la troisième place et le gagnant ou la gagnante de la troisième place pour cette année est
During the COVID-19 pandemic, Canadian governments implemented various public health measures to reduce COVID-19 infections and death rates. However, without trust in government, the population will not comply to public health measures, as seen through the various protests that occurred in Canada, even after the lifting of COVID-19 measures were announced. These events indicate a lack of trust in the government, which in turn leads to further public health risk. For my thesis research, I will investigate social media comments or replies to posts published on the Facebook and Twitter pages of municipal, provincial, and federal public health organizations, as they can provide insight into the mindset of a large and diverse sample of the Canadian population. Individuals also tend to express their opinions freely on social media, which can help us better understand what public health COVID-19 reopening decisions increase or decrease public trust. My work will help inform future public health policies to rebuild trust in public health governments and better prepare against future disasters.
Now, the second place winner, la deuxième place du concours uOGRADflix est le gagnant ou la gagnante est
Eat, sleep, study, repeat. Student life is tough. It's not surprising that over 30% of university students worldwide suffer from anxiety and depressive symptoms. Fortunately, researchers around the globe are investigating potential ways to mitigate this mental health crisis. We know that positive education courses promote mental health and alleviate mental illness-related symptoms in university students. But what happens when we throw another evidence-based practice into the mix? By means of questionnaires and open-ended journal prompts, I am examining the impact of integrating a yoga component into a positive education course offered at the University of Ottawa on undergraduate students' mental health, with the intention of opening up new avenues for positive education and helping students flourish on and off the yoga mat.
And now the first place winner of the 2022 uOGRADflix competition, le ou la gagnante, le ou la grande gagnante du concours uOGRADflix 2022 est
COVID-19, the global catastrophe, it made university teaching look and feel a lot different to what it used to be. Assessment is a core element of teaching, and with this sudden shift online, some assessments went from this to suddenly looking like this. Online assessments aren't new to higher education, but the sudden shift could create an excessive cognitive or mental strain. Cognitive load is our limited capacity to hold information, and an area that is not yet explored is whether this influences a teacher's ability to assess. To address this gap, my study explores cognitive load in higher education teachers who use online assessments, all against the backdrop of COVID-19, aiming to highlight the complexities these teachers face every day during these times. We may have started with catastrophe, but by slowly understanding its influence, assessing and assessment in higher education can go far beyond the power of a pandemic.
Félicitations à Lucie, Sarah et Sajani, the three winners of this year competition. Avant d'annoncer le prix du choix du public, j'aimerais, au nom de l'Université d'Ottawa, remercier encore une fois tous les étudiants et étudiantes qui ont participé à la deuxième édition du concours uOGRADflix. J'aimerais aussi chaleureusement remercier tous ceux et celles qui appuient de près ou de loin les étudiants et étudiantes durant leur aventure académique. A special thank you to all thesis supervisors who guide and support our students to become great researchers. Comme mentionné plus tôt, les gagnants et gagnantes seront invités plus tard à l'automne pour une remise de prix. Finally, the winners of the People's Choice Award, le ou la gagnante du prix du public de la deuxième édition du concours uOGRADflix est, on fait durer le
Savez-vous que les agressions sexuelles demeurent l'une des infractions les moins déclarées au Canada? Les personnes affectées par une telle situation choisissent en général de ne pas en parler, de le faire tardivement, sélectivement ou d'en parler dans un format anonyme. Il existe donc toujours de la difficulté d'en parler et d'être entendu, et je m'intéresse à comprendre comment les étudiants agressés sexuellement en sont amenés à dévoiler leur expérience. Du coup, j'ai interviewé une dizaine d'étudiants et étudiantes de l'Université d'Ottawa, et pour m'y rendre, j'ai été afficher des textes de recrutement dans les salles de bain sur le campus. Il en ressort que toutes ces personnes ont progressé dans leur logique et type de dévoilement. Ma recherche, elle aide davantage à enseigner comment proprement réagir à la suite d'un dévoilement et être capable de reconnaître ces formes de violence, tout en ouvrant un large espace de nouveaux questionnements. Merci.
Marielle Mercier et toutes les autres participants. It takes a lot of time and work to organize an event like this one. I would like to thank the people who have worked hard in organizing this competition. Un événement de ce calibre nécessite la collaboration de nombreux secteurs sur le campus. C'est pourquoi j'aimerais remercier tout d'abord les membres de notre comité de sélection, l'honorable Greg Fergus, Aline Germain-Rutherford, Catherine Mavripilis et Mathieu Provost. Merci beaucoup. J'aimerais également remercier les collègues suivants, nos invités spéciaux, our special guests, Jill Scott, André Beauchemin et Catherine Potter. Le Bureau des droits d'auteur, Copyright Office, Andrea Lopel. Également, les organisatrices de ce concours avec moi, Mayada El Malouf et Sophie Saint-Denis. Merci beaucoup. Un merci spécial à mes collègues du cabinet des études supérieures et postdoctorales pour leur aide précieuse dans les 2 dernières semaines. Donc, Viviane Kayat, qui était sur le clavardage aujourd'hui, qui nous a aidés. Patrick Lalonde, Luciana Iwan et Annabelle Minot, merci beaucoup. Pour le soutien technique et l'enregistrement, un gros merci à Pierre Tardif de l'Université d'Ottawa et à Duoson Multimédia, Harold Price et Tony Hicks. Thank you very much for your support. I also would like to thank the University of Waterloo. They allowed us to use the GRADflix concept that they had created. J'aimerais également remercier tous les spectateurs aujourd'hui. To all viewers, we hope you enjoyed the event. The video as well as the recording of the live showcase will be available on the uOGRADflix YouTube channel shortly. Encore une fois, merci d'avoir assisté à l'événement d'aujourd'hui, d'avoir encouragé nos étudiants et étudiantes. We are looking forward to see you next year. I cannot wait to watch the video of next year competition. Un gros merci à tout le monde. Merci et bonne fin de journée. Thank you.